Hi guys, MrRoflWaffles here. This is the complete story of Firebase Z, as told through its intel, Easter egg audio, secret audio, trailers, cutscenes, and more. I did a video like this for D Machine, and you guys absolutely loved it. The amount of likes, comments, people subscribing, all of it was just incredible, so thank you for that support, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video just as much. The story has moved on quite a lot since D Machine, so we've got plenty to cover today. So let's start with the question: how did our characters go from Morasko, Poland, where D Machine took place, to Vietnam? Well, at the end of the D Machine Easter egg, Weaver stated that Omega was just getting started, and while this dimensional breach was now closed, there were others around the world that would need to be dealt with. In my video, I suggested two particular sites of interest: the Ural Mountains, which we will talk about later, and Vietnam, which is of course where Firebase Z takes place. So why Vietnam? The story of Firebase Z begins with Dr. William Peck, lead scientist of Omega Exoscientific Phenomena Research and defector from the United States. On November 3rd, 1983, Peck received intel that multiple dimensional gates had appeared around the globe, exactly as predicted by Dr. Alexandra Valentina, lead scientist of Omega Psychotronics Research. This meant that it was time to plan the construction of the next Omega facility, and a week later, Peck described the location that he had chosen.
Personal log, Peck, November 9th, 1983. 2 days ago, I identified and submitted the perfect location for Phase 2. After assessing the dimensional breach outside of Khe Sanh, I found a mountaintop formerly occupied by an American base called Ripcord. It has the ideal dimensional fertility to suit our project's needs. I just received word an agreement was reached with the Vietnamese government, and construction is set to begin on the 11th. What excellent news.
Ripcord's full name is Fire Support Base Ripcord, and it was on that base that the last confrontation between the United States Ground Forces and the People's Army of Vietnam took place in the Vietnam War. The American troops stationed there had been carrying out operations in the nearby A Shau Valley, but after 3 weeks of holding their positions against the Vietnamese siege, the US realized that they had been beaten and they were forced to withdraw, sending in B-52s to bomb the site once they had left. The remains of this abandoned facility were perfect for Omega to commandeer, just like they did with the sealed Project N Station facility. So, in came Peck's men to establish a base there, which Omega would call Outpost 25. Construction was estimated to be completed by February 15th, 1984, and to avoid suspicion from the locals, a cover story would be used about US chemical weapons being accidentally detonated at the site to explain the usual activity around construction. In the following recording, Peck explains his plans for the outpost.
So far, the breaches have been uncontrolled, which greatly restricted our ability to take advantage of this new dimension. But, if we are able to open our own stabilized gateway that operates under our control, well, I mean, come on. We'll be the first with free reign to pilfer, pillage, and plunder an alien world, untainted and ripe with resources ready for extraction. It will give us a considerable edge over my former countrymen. Good riddance to them.
So, Peck set out to stabilize the gateway, and to do so, he enlisted the help of Dr. Dmitry Kulkli, Exoscientific Phenomena Research Assistant. Kulkli would prove to be extremely important to the story of Firebase Z, but we'll talk about his achievements more a bit later. For now, let's listen to an important breakthrough that happened mere months after the Omega Outpost was beginning to be constructed.
This is Dr. William Peck. It is the 8th of January, 1984, 1:13 a.m. This is test number 32 for dimensional breach.
Must you start with that every recording?
Do not interrupt, Dmitri. This is your chance to learn something from a real scientist. As I was saying, test number 32. Dr. Kulkli, you may proceed.
Activating resonator. Beginning magnetic amplification. Dimensional barrier identified. Beginning particle distortion.
Barrier membrane integrity at 50%.
Amplification is still approaching the limits prematurely.
Increasing voltage output from Ethereum crystal. It's working. Membrane integrity at 40%.
Amplification has reached maximum safety parameters.
Let it ride, Dimitri. Let it ride. Increasing voltage output.
Amplification exceeding safety parameters. I'm shutting it down.
You touch that button, I'll have you gutted like a fish and fed to your comrades in Solyanka soup. Membrane integrity down to 10%.
You Mudak! You get us killed.
Great. Adjusting distortion frequency to pattern echo 4.
My God.
Eat your heart out, Dr. Vogel. We'll see who history remembers.
Just like that, a stabilized dimensional breach was achieved, a massive milestone in Omega's research. Now, Peck just needed men to actually step through it so that he could identify the alignment required for safe travel through it and allow people to return safely. Because eventually, he needed them to be able to return with Ethereum crystals mined from within the Dark Ether itself. Spetsnaz soldiers were used for some initial tests, but there were many that were killed or went missing in the process, so Peck applied to his superiors for authorization to conscript people from the local population. In the meantime, more Spetsnaz soldiers were sent into the breach.
Andrik Fedorov, the freighter, Omega Group. My squad just returned from the dark place. Well, not all of us did. They sent us to gather Ethereum crystals. It's like picking wildflowers in hell. And of course we say yes, because we are Spetsnaz. Refusal is not an option. Not if you want to maintain your career. But it's not gone well. I have lost more friends here than I did in Afghanistan. No career is worth that. If this is what it takes for me to make sergeant, I can only guess what the colonel has done to get where he is. I was a different man when I enlisted. I wanted to travel as far from home as possible, and I feared nothing. This mission was cured me of both.
Little time passed before the Kremlin agreed to Peck's request, and conscription began, with men arriving from prisons across the Soviet Union, as well as undesirables and academics being sent in by local North Vietnamese authorities who felt like they might make good miners. As more men entered the breach, more stories began to spread of the things they had experienced inside.
Ivan Kozlov, prisoner number 136778. I was transferred here from Perm 35 labor camp last month. Somehow, I have survived 5 trips into the darkness to get at the fucking crystals. 5. That bastard American doctor even called me Lucky Ivan. He forced us through his gateway at gunpoint. Shot the first man who dared to say "Niet." So in go 9 of us. Only Lucky Ivan comes back. And now, I'm in this hellish place on trip number 6, and I cannot find the exit. Did they close it? Did they get tired of waiting for me? These crystals are heavy. I do not know where I am. And I know something out there is watching me. Not so lucky, after all.
Shortly afterwards, another breakthrough was made.
Peck here. Personal log, March 19th. After weeks of phasic misalignment resulting in numerous anatomical displacements, today marked our first successful teleportation test, and I'm sure Private Pashkov was happy to arrive with all parts intact. After the generators last month, this marks the second milestone achievement for Outpost 25. I must admit, our rapid progress is due in no small part to our Dark Ether miners, or Ethernauts, as the Kremlin has chosen to call them. Dr. Kukle tells me crystal collection is up nearly 240%. This intake volume has allowed our scientists to continue working around the clock, and is frankly how we've accomplished this impressive feat. It is true some don't return, but I'm told it's a small percentage.
The Ethernauts were vital to the Ethereum mining operation. Peck felt that the element would work like a new plutonium, capable of yielding enormous amounts of energy and being refined down to weapons-grade levels of concentration. As such, he sought to harvest as much as he could, especially seeing as every second spent mining the crystals put the Soviet Union ever further ahead of the United States in the Cold War arms race. The stakes were high, but sending men into the dark ether for prolonged periods of time did have consequences.
That said, many of those who do return have displayed physical and psychological symptoms, ranging from infection to amnesia. Unfortunately, these subjects after study must be euthanized. I've spoken with Kuklay about developing a memory transference machine. Give us the chance to at least recover the affected's memories. That will take time to construct. So, in the interim, I'm developing a truth serum to assist with interviewing the amnesiacs. Maybe we can pry the truth from their damaged synapses, so their deaths won't be a total waste.
Dr. Kukley's personal logs paint an even clearer picture of the danger involved with dark ether mining. For example, mining mission completion rates were only 76%, meaning a quarter of those who were sent into the dark ether never returned. Those who did return reported being inside the dark ether for much longer than their reported absence in our dimension. So a mere few days of regular Earth time could be weeks or even months inside the dark ether. This exacerbated the amnesia problem noted by Dr. Peck. Despite the fact that some miners returned with absolutely no signs of symptoms, others who participated in prolonged or repeated excursions returned with large gaps in their long-term memory, or worse, entirely forgetting who they were and what they were doing. These more severe cases of amnesia were found to correlate to higher Etherium levels in blood and brain tissue. And presumably the more time you spent in the dark ether, the more likely you were to suffer from this. As such, new regulations were implemented to minimize the duration for which workers were allowed to stay within the dark ether on a given trip. But as we will learn more about shortly, the desire to harvest ever larger supplies of Etherium meant that the new safety rules were often forcibly ignored. Now, Peck attempted to circumvent this problem by creating the Truth Serum and later creating the Memory Transference device. He thought that if miners couldn't be saved from experiencing the Dark Ether's effects, then these would at least ensure that research could continue, even if it did mean that they had to replace their mining team more frequently. It was a small price to pay for the Kremlin's desires for global domination. So on the mining went. This wasn't all that took place under Peck's supervision at the Outpost. Dead creatures from the Dark Ether were brought in to be experimented on too, with one of Omega's Ethernaut convicts being especially skilled at hunting them down and bringing them back to the Outpost for testing.
Tobias Hoffman, Sergeant. I was captured on a covert mission in the DDR. My superiors had to deny they ever heard of me. The Stasi interrogated me. I gave them nothing. So they threw me in a Dresden prison for 2 years. And now, a KGB unit I never heard of before has me hunting for damned monsters in this nightmare world they have discovered. They brought other prisoners, political dissidents and common criminals, to gather strange minerals from this place. But I have skills the others do not. So they make me hunt specimens for their American scientist. It makes sense. Why risk their own soldiers when they have someone as utterly expendable as me? So I kill their specimens and drag them back for study. The American is giddy with these new playthings. He promises to reward me, but I know his words are empty. Strange man. I swear he feels more kinship for these creatures than he does for other people. Truth be told, I do not hate this work. Dangerous, yes, but better than rotting in a jail cell.
Eventually, live specimens were being captured as well, and one such creature was examined by Dr. Peck and Dr. Kukley.
Proceeding with examination of upper abdomen. Dimitri, retractors.
Placing the retractors.
Organs appear somewhat similar to our own, but everything seems merged, interlinked. Observe the lungs. Similar location, but its pleura extends and connects directly to the heart, passing through the endocardium. There appears to be something engraved on the interior of the creature's back. What is that?
Что за shirt? It is a face.
Yes, there does appear to be a warped, stretched pigmentation that resembles a human face.
Resembles? Look! It even has a bump where the nose should be. Wait. No! It is Private Glasgow! We sent him to the other side last month, but he never came back. Is this thing him?
That last remark is to be struck from the record. We have no proof this creature is Private Glasgow. Let's continue. I suppose that's as good a place as any to terminate the session. Subject has turned itself into a cassette tape.
Unfortunately, Coolclee's suspicions were correct. Upon further testing, the creature's DNA was identified as part human. However, Omega staff were unable to bring their old human comrade back. Instead, the creature transformed into various objects multiple times throughout its captivity, switching from the form of a storage crate to a chair, for example. One day, it transformed into a rifle, and an unwitting guard outside its containment chamber opened the door, realizing just too late that he had been tricked by the monster. The guard was attacked, and in the chaos that ensued, the monster was killed. And this was seen as proof of the potential warfare applications of these creatures. As a result, research on their kind, now known as mimics, continued. What they conveniently ignored was how horrible it was for their own miners to turn into these creatures.
My name is Olga. It is Olga. Olga. Damn it, I cannot remember last name. I was pulled out of labor camp to mine crystals. I was healthy then, but I think crystals make me sick. First came nightmares. I am chair. I am box. I am table. Maybe it does not seem scary, but it is. Then came fevers and pain. Now parts of skin look like wood, look like brick. It is different every morning. Bones are crooked. They bend like rubber, and hair is sticking together like tails of rats. Am I falling apart? Or am I turning into something else?
This marks a good point for us to turn our attention towards some other star players in the Firebase Z story. While Dr. Peck was busy with his research, some of his staff grew to detest him and began to resent the work that they were being forced to carry out. One such man went by the name of Sergei Ravenov. In the early 80s, Ravenov was a member of the Spetsgruppe Alpha, a counterterrorism unit created by KGB chairman Andropov in 1974. Having served with them in the Caribbean, Central America, Angola, and Afghanistan, his superiors described him as ruthless and reliable, and as such he was seen as a perfect candidate for transfer to the Omega Group in 1983. However, upon joining and learning of their plans, he grew frustrated with the group, feeling like they were taking a cowardly, easy way out approach to winning the Cold War, which was diametrically opposed to the best interests of his country. And so, he made contact with a friend of his at the BND, the Foreign Intelligence Service of West Germany. Her name was none other than Samantha Maxis. This is where the puzzle really starts to come together. After Sam had leaked information about the Omega site in Poland in 1983, She was forced into hiding in order to avoid capture, but her communication with Ravenov served as perfect motivation for her to get back into the field. She may indeed be operating out of a different part of the world, but she would still be fighting back against the Omega threat. So it seemed like the right move, but she had to be sure that she could trust Ravenov first.
You received the files, yes?
Yes, I received the files, but I have not reviewed them. My situation is changing.
You are no longer with the BND?
Let's just say I am more of a free agent now. There are many spies and traitors within our national institutions.
I understand.
Which leads me to wonder, why are you a traitor? I've seen your record. A founding member of the KGB counter-terrorist detachment, Alpha Group. You took part in operations across the globe. Central America, the Caribbean, Angola, Afghanistan.
Yes, I am a loyal soldier of the Soviet Union. And I have done questionable things. Terrible things. But I am no traitor. If you knew who was running Omega, and I believe you already do, you would not even have to ask me that question. I am not a traitor to my country. Despite their slogans and mantras, Omega are not who we are.
Are you certain of that?
Look at the files. Learn something of their work. There you will find your answers as to why I am choosing to do what I am doing.
I will, soon. Stay safe. You will hear from me again.
Sam was convinced by what she saw, and it weighed heavy on her mind.
I am troubled in ways I was not yesterday. The information I have received from the Soviet informant has confirmed that Omega's plans are further advanced than even I had feared previously. Omega's leader clearly seeks to control the bridges between this and the other world. He may well be succeeding. Their internal propaganda claims to offer men the opportunity to become heroic explorers of a brave new frontier. Like the cosmonauts whose first journeys into space shocked the world. Even if they had a choice, these men have little idea or understanding of the fate that awaits them. The horror laid out in the other documents makes clear the truth of their glorious contributions. They, like so many before them, are being used. They are miners at the coalface, stricken by blackened lungs, not cosmonauts reaching for the stars. Their bodies, their minds, their very souls, all of it will be ravaged in Omega's relentless pursuit to harness Ethereum. Weaver must know of this.
It had become clear to her that this was more than just a fight between two warring nations. This was also a fight for the workers of the world, who deserved better than this. She contacted Weaver at once.
Are you still angry, Weaver?
I'm rarely angry, Sam. You should know that.
No. I know that you're just very good at hiding it. I have news.
Tell me what's going on, and please, Sam, don't lie. That would make me angry.
I have a contact within Omega Group. He wants to meet. I've seen the intel he has firsthand. He's the real deal.
Okay.
There's an Omega operation underway at a facility about halfway between Hue City and Kaisan, headed up by one of their top scientists, Dr. William Peck. You heard that name before?
I know the name all too well. He may have a brilliant intellect, but he's an arrogant narcissist who cares only for stoking his own ego. Above all else, he's a fucking traitor to this country.
I know. But this Peck is also about to help the Soviets secure the breakthrough they need to control access to the other dimension.
Okay, let's assume your intel is solid, and this is all true. You have to let Requiem take it from here. Where are you now?
This could be our only chance to catch up with the Soviets. I'm going to meet with my contact.
Sam, I don't want you to get yourself hurt.
Please don't be angry, Weaver.
Damn it, Sam.
Despite Weaver's best wishes, Sam seized the initiative and traveled to the village in Vietnam where Ravenov was stationed. Unfortunately, her lines of communication were not entirely secure, and one of Peck's superiors, called Gorev, personally traveled to Vietnam to let Peck know what was happening.
Gorev, you're here. In Vietnam?
In the flesh, comrade. What? Old friend cannot pay visit? You look so rigid, Peck. So nervous. You remind me of San before he does his silly theater shows. He freezes up, like he sees ghosts and forgets lines. That or he soils his pants. I trust that is not the case here. Sit down, please, before you hurt self. You look rather pale, even for you. How are you not getting sun here in such temperate climate?
May I inquire as to the purpose of your visit, Gorev?
I am here with special message. One I decided to deliver personally. We intercepted communication from BND agent Maxis. You remember her? The leaked in-station tape?
Why would I give a rat's ass about her? Isn't she dead?
It is funny you say this, because not only is she very much alive, but she has turned one of your men. At this very facility, he is planning to deliver your research to Requiem.
I find that highly improbable.
Highly improbable. Why do Americans talk like this? It is either truth or not truth. Why must you be so non-committal to facts? I do not understand this.
What exactly do you need from me?
Orders from Colonel. And orders are simple. Pretend to be Mole, plant trap, apprehend Maxis.
Then what?
Interrogate her, torture her. I don't need to know the specifics. As long as she confesses and reveals who Mole is, I am happy. It is good when I am happy, yes?
I'll take care of it personally.
And thus, the trap was set. Sam would be reeled in, thinking she was going to meet with Ravenov, and instead, Peck would be waiting for her. The village was connected to the main facility by an Ethereum-powered teleporter, and Sam needed to get to it if she wanted to have any chance of reaching the base. She arrived and got to work.
Weaver, I'm still in the field. I have to meet a contact.
I am not proud of everything I have done, but I am proud of what I am doing. Omega must be stopped, no matter the personal cost to people like you and I.
No, my friend. They are the ones who are going to pay.
They have already opened their new worlds.
Peck's trap worked like a charm, and Samantha was captured by Omega. Ravenov got in contact immediately with Weaver to alert him of the news.
Is this a secure line?
Who is this?
Is this a secure line?
As secure as they can be.
You're wrong. They are listening. They always are. That's why Maxis is where she is now.
You're the contact she told me about. Where is Samantha now?
When I arrived at the meeting, they were already there. Omega. They took her.
Did they hurt her?
They will keep her alive. At least, for now. They will have taken her to their facility. The one where you must go. Where you must send your people.
Who are you to tell me what I should do?
I am Sergei Ravenov. I know you need Peck's research. I know you need to close the gap. I know you know how quickly you are falling behind. Their Ethereum research is way beyond yours. Way beyond anything you could imagine. Maxis would want you to stop them weaponizing it further, even if it meant she sacrifices herself for the greater good.
If you're lying to me, If you betrayed her, if any harm comes to her, I will kill you myself.
It will not come to that. I have already told you, Omega are ahead of you. Every step of the way.
With this newly acquired information, Weaver immediately began drawing up plans to send Requiem agents into Vietnam. Meanwhile, Peck had already started trying to extract information from Sam about who the mole in Omega was.
William Heck.
Well, you're very perceptive, Miss Maxis, even with the blindfold.
I thought I smelled bullshit as soon as the door opened, but no. It's just a cheap aftershave. It can't disguise the stink of your sweat.
What can I say? This environment is more humid than I would like. It's worse than Baton Rouge at the height of summer.
We're not here to discuss your sartorial failings. Let's get this over with.
Over with? No, my dear. Nothing is ending anytime soon. Not for you, not for me. Besides the restraints on your wrists and ankles, you feel the electrodes on your body, yes? Of course you do. You're a smart girl. Who is your informant? Who told you about our work here? Who was it who dared betray me?
Does it bother you? Not having any friends?
Friends are overrated. They can't pay the bills.
You do realize the Milgram experiment only showed how subservient people could be when challenged by the authority figure.
Any more smart comments to make?
Yeah. Whose bitch are you?
Samantha proved more courageous in the face of torture than Peck expected, and he failed each time he tried to get information from her. Eventually, his patience ran out, and he chose to try a different plan instead.
So, Sam, do you realize what this is? Do you even know? Of course you don't. So I'll tell you. It's a gateway into the other world. Have you ever even dreamt of such a thing? Have you ever imagined what it would be like if everything you knew to be true was just turned upside down, changed forever? That's what this represents. It's a door to another world, one that could enrich or destroy everything depending on who holds the keys. Look at you. Resolute. Stubborn. Your silence isn't going to help you in any way, you know. In fact, it's just going to make things worse. We will find your informant, believe me. That's the funny thing about secrets. They can't stay secret forever. Sooner or later, they are always exposed, along with all their inherent beauty or ugliness. You know, I don't think you realize just how small of a cog you are in this machine. You're close to nothing. Worthless. No one is coming for you because no one cares about you. Honestly, I'm doing you and the world a favor. We are made from Earth, and we will return to Earth. Some of us sooner than others. From dust you are, and to dust you will return.
Samantha was ID tagged and thrown into the dark ether, forcing her to rely on her survival skills while Peck continued his research uninhibited back on base. At this point, nobody else knew of this. Weaver was still under the impression that Maxis was held somewhere within the Outpost 25 facility. Shortly afterwards, disaster struck on the base.
Can you hear me? Is anyone there? The dial tells me this is the correct broadcast frequency, so I'm just going to assume you can hear me. Whichever Omega lackey happens to be receiving this transmission, start dialing the Colonel. Now! I've got a developing situation over here. Outpost 25 has fallen. Everyone here is either dead, dying, or infected. I'm the last one alive. I want to make this unequivocally clear. This is not my fault. It was the gateway. Without warning, it unleashed a massive burst of Ethereum. The infection spread quickly, and as my men began to turn, I observed a phasic barrier surround the base. My men tried to escape, but anyone who entered this phase quickly succumbed to a terrible case of death. More creatures keep arriving every hour. I'm trapped in a room with little food and only a literal pot to piss in. Get me the hell out of here!
The outpost was overrun by zombies, with power shut off and an etheric phase barrier forming in a bubble around the facility perimeter, meaning nobody trapped inside was able to leave. There were few survivors, but one of them was Dr. Peck himself, remaining safe from any zombie attacks thanks to his reinforced office. Once Requiem arrived at the village, the next chapter of the Firebase's story began. Their first task was to meet up with Ravenov and find a way around the phase shift enclosing the facility.
Weaver strike team arriving at the target coordinates. Waiting your orders.
Strike team, the Omega base is nearby. Maxis' contact will help us infiltrate. Ravenov, are you there?
Finally. There is little time to waste. The dead have already ravaged the facility.
Captain, I wish we were talking under better circumstances.
I disagree. There is no better time for Russians to speak than when they must persevere. Take the teleporter to the Omega base. That is where you will find your Maxis. I would help, but I have persevered enough for one day. I will watch and help from here. Go now. Find Maxis.
The teleporter would prove a perfect entry point, but before the crew left, Ravenov gave them some advice.
You have fought their kind before, yes? They are vicious and relentless, like Medved with drinking problem. They do not die easy. Still, cut anything into enough pieces, it will fall. There is plenty of intel to recover. Take whatever is not nailed down. You need to gain advantage in this conflict because right now, Omega has you bent over their knee. But they are not using belt. They are using rusted sickle. Pah! Omega Group. I will gladly spit on their graves. I have been Spetsnaz for a long time, but they are evil. And I say this as a man who once extracted confession by removing suspects' extremities 1 centimeter at a time. They are worse. If you have opportunity to slit Peck's throat, take it. I wish I had. It may be only way to get him to shut up. Fucking suka. No more talking for now. You have a job to do. You must find Maxis.
With Ravenov's words ringing in their ears, the Requiem agents stepped into the teleporter and were immediately welcomed to the base on the other side by Dr. Peck.
Oh no. Requiem soldiers. How did you get access to the base? I know why you're here. You want the German girl, Maxis. Tell you what. You restore facility power. I'll hand over your spy.
Peck, you better have Maxis ready for transport, or there will be consequences.
Begrudgingly, the crew got to work, restoring power to the 3 sectors of the base by restarting 3 dormant ether reactors.
Ether reactor online. Initiating charge sequence.
Down you go.
Ether reactor online at mission control.
1 down, 2 to go. I'd pick up the pace if I were you, for Max's sake.
If you've heard her, Peck, I will end you, personally.
Meanwhile, Peck relayed a message to Omega HQ about what was going on.
To my friends at Omega HQ,
Peck here at Outpost 25 with an update on my situation. Requiem is here, and believe it or not, that's actually good news. Now, why would you say that, Peck? I can hear you ask. Well, let me explain. Do you know what I love about Requiem? They're idiots, and idiots are good for one thing: following instructions, obeying without a moment's hesitation, like a lemming leaping off a cliff. Well, these little Requiem lemmings leapt right into restarting the power for me, which means I can now begin satellite transfer of all our work back to Omega HQ. The facility may be lost, but Omega's work will live on. Don't thank me, thank Requiem. What good, lil lemmings.
Due to the unexpected shutdown of the facility, Peck had been unable to transmit any of his research findings out of the outpost, having previously only been storing the data locally. If he wanted to keep his life, he knew he would have to ensure that his research made its way back to Omega HQ. So he began trying to manipulate Requiem into giving him what he needed. It was only once power was on that he revealed what had actually happened to Samantha.
All ether reactors online. Facility operating at full power.
Requiem team, the forge machine at my location now has power. You have used before, yes? It will make weapon more angry than I'll cash after third bottle.
Took your sweet time with that, didn't you? Head to mission control. I'll be waiting.
We did as you asked, Peck. So where the hell is she? Where is Maxis?
Where's Maxis? Right now? I'd imagine fighting for her life against all sorts of awful monstrosities. You see, I used my portal and threw her into the dark ether, then shut it down and threw away the key. Good luck reopening it. But I do appreciate you turning the power on. Now I can transfer my research back to Omega. Thanks for that.
Fucking dog! Peck's depravity knows no limits. If what he says is true, Maxis is in mortal danger. Time to show Peck our own cruelty. Come, see me. There is more than one way to kill a Sabaka.
Before heading back to Ravenov to hear his plan, the crew interrogated Peck a little.
You're still here? Why? I have no further use for you. You've done what I asked, now scram, skedaddle. Don't make me grab the bug spray. If you insist on hanging around, you should know I really am thankful you fixed my little power problem. Because of you, I'm able to continue the satellite transfer of my research to Omega HQ. The base may be lost, but my work will be saved. Probably my life too. Who knows what they would have done to me. Honestly, I don't know what would have happened had you not come along. Without that research, I had nothing. My men killed, the base lost, undead crawling all over. I was screwed. Omega probably would have killed me, or worse. Can't say I'm surprised you were so trusting in the first place. Too many yes men in American institutions. Gullible, uneducated. Ugh. I'm so glad I left when I did. Hound me all you want. It won't change a damn thing. Maxis is a poor, little, lost girl. No one, least of all you, can bring her back. Now leave me in peace. I need to save my research. And my ass.
Now, did you guys notice the little Easter egg reference in there? Little lost girl? Anyway, with a slightly better understanding of Peck's motivations, the crew then returned to the village to talk to Ravenov, who revealed his plan and shared his thoughts about both Peck and Omega.
What's your big plan, Ravenov?
When Omega first sent men into the dark ether, they came back crazy, telling stories we knew could not be true. To extract the truth, we created a special serum. This keycard will get you access to the materials needed to make a dose. This truth serum will make that bastard Peck tell you anything.
Ravenov also shared his admiration for Samantha and explained why he felt compelled to work to ensure her survival, even though his continued assistance of Requiem only served to endanger him further.
So, find the compounds, make a dose, Then we give Peck a taste of his own medicine.
I don't see it fixing his personality problems, but getting a little honesty out of that rat will be a nice change of pace.
I am surprised Peck did not kill you after he tricked you. Simple solutions are always good for complex problems, huh? But he let you live. So, either he is an idiot or he still has plans for you. And knowing him, it is probably both. Fucking fool. Peck acts like hero now, but wait until Omega Group arrives. If he is lucky, they will kill him quickly. He thought America was bad. He has no idea. If he is allowed to live, it will come at a price. Peck is first of many we must destroy. If you think he is dangerous, you should see the Omega senior staff and their leader, the Colonel. Now that is hard man to kill. Kremlin is desperate. Why else do you think they reactivated Omega? They see the changing world, so they put trust in those that play with dark power. It is like powder keg. One mistake and boom. You see what happens? Just look at this facility. Desperation leads to unholy alliances. You know what I see when I look at Omega? I see cowards. They want easy way out of difficult corner. That is something no son of Russia has ever known. They proclaim their heroism in the summer, but forget what their father sacrificed in the winter. You must know Omega have spies within Requiem, yes? How do you think they learned of Maxis' plan? Do not look at me. Omega still believes I am loyal to the cause. If they did not, I would be dead already. We may be comrades, but we are not allies. I am loyal to the motherland, and will still spill blood for her. But Omega? There is an expression. When you lie with rats, you get your fucking throat cut. Perhaps it is a Russian expression. We cannot live without Maxis. She has a gift. Before we spoke, I wanted to cripple Omega. But after, I wanted to crush them. There is power in her words that would make even the weakest among us rise up in revolution. There must be some Russian blood in Maxis. Peck would have interrogated and tortured her before throwing her into the dark ether, desperate to learn who her informant was. The fact that Omega still believes I am an ally means she did not break. Her heart is strong. Enough talk for now. Return to task at hand. Then we leave.
Roused by Ravenov's words, the crew scoured the facility for the ingredients required to create a dose of Dr. Peck's own truth serum, the very same one he had used on his own men after they returned from the Dark Ether with amnesia. Carver, on the other hand, was not convinced.
Tell me this isn't the plan, Weaver. We're not really about to trust Mr. Iron Curtain over here.
It's our best move for now, Carver. Agent Maxis trusted him. We should do the same.
The ingredients were collected and mixed, ready to be fixed to Dr. Peck's AC unit and aerosolized into his office.
An aerosol delivery system. That should get Peck talking.
You know, he used to be a scientist at DARPA. He's got a sharp mind.
Which is why we should tread carefully. There's no back he won't stab.
The outcome of this, though, was a little unexpected.
My truth serum? I suppose you think you're clever. Is it even a proper dose? Oh, it might be. Symptom check, warm tingles, goosebumps, feeling of happiness, euphoria. Which means it's time for hallucinations, memories, my memories. I see. Is that? I believe it is. The meaning of life. To dance!
Steady now, Martha. You must follow my lead. Ouch. Damn it all, Martha. Watch my toes. I only have the 10. You wore the necklace from your 40th. Bought it at Dahlia's, your favorite. Lovely night, isn't it? Nothing like the Big Apple in wintertime. Fresh, crisp snow on the ground. Your eyes, my dear, they look almost violet in the moonlight. We must take a trip. I've been far too busy, lost in my work. Did we forget something? Did I leave the gas on? We forgot to feed Captain Whiskers. Dun 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 dun. We could just run away, you and I. Quit my job, leave the country. Don't worry. Captain Whiskers can come too. Dun 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 dun. Damn it, there goes the waiter. This champagne glass won't refill itself. The fool. Dun 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 dun. It's really getting quite late, my dear. Perhaps a nightcap, some brandy.
Eventually, the crew lost patience, and they interrupted.
All right, Peck. You've had your fun. Now, how do we open the portal? Tell us the truth. 1, 2, 3. The truth. The truth is that you interrupted a lovely waltz with my Martha. But, the portal, you'll need the codes to restart the quantum mainframe. Dr. Sokolov and Brahms have them. But to locate Maxis, you'll need her dimensional tracker ID tag. Sabine has that. Oh, yeah. They're all dead. Or infected. Head to the data center. There may be something that can help you.
Peck's first solution to cases of Ethernaut amnesia had been his truth serum. His second, though, was the memory transference device, capable of writing a captured entity's memories to disk to be read by a computer. It was this device that Peck now advised Requiem to use in order to retrieve the information they needed to locate and retrieve Samantha.
Ah, the memory transference station. Built to recover memories from dark ether miners transformed by Ethereum. All you need to do is find Sokolov, Brahms, and Zabine in their current forms, trap their essence, collect their memories. Easy peasy.
Like Peg said, easy enough. Reactivation codes, tracker ID, open the portal, bring Maxis home.
You forget the part where we figure out which freak we need? Last I checked, they don't wear name tags.
It was a fairly straightforward plan. Sokolov, Brahms, and Zabine had previously worked at the site, and they had transformed into mimics, and now the crew simply needed to trap those mimics as they attacked them while they explored the facility, and then enter their captured essences into this computer in order for their memories to be processed.
Scanning for target. Target in range. Target captured. Collect for processing. 3 minutes to containment failure. Return to processing station immediately. Downloading memories.
Poor Dr. Sokolov. He's a tough old bird, but all work and no play is no way to go through life. Still, we make a good team. Sokolov and Brahms. Hardware and software. I'm sure the history books will leave out what a pain in the ass he is. I just hope he wrote down the activation code I gave him. Mine is committed to memory. R3QXG.
That's one of the activation codes. Just need to find the other one.
Downloading memories.
I am by far the oldest man on staff. So why can't these children keep up? Always whining for more rest and recreation. All I care about are results. Peck ignores me. Brahms chats endlessly. Neither has done more than I have to make the portal function. Now, what was that activation code Brahms gave me for the mainframe? Ah, yes. JZK5D.
That's the second activation code. Good work. That's what we need to reboot the mainframe.
Station immediately.
Every time I tag a miner, I tell them the transponder will keep them safe. I tell a lot of lies, but today, that spy we captured, she knew what she was in for. No tears. No begging. What a waste. She would have made a fine Spetsnaz. Tracker ID 437B. I hope you make it back.
That's Maxis' tracker ID. Now the portal can target her position in the dark ether.
Downloading contents to disk.
With their third mimic captured and processed, the crew were able to download the data to a floppy disk and save it for later.
Nice work. Let's get the mainframe rebooted.
I'm not about to count undead chickens before they hatch, but if this works, we should have your agent back in no time.
Before moving on though, they then attempted to retrieve the memories of as many other people as they could, to try and get a better understanding of exactly what had happened previously at the base.
How can I get back to listen? I showed him the aether meter readings. It should have been obvious to a man of his intellect. The reactors are vulnerable to catastrophic overload. He just shrugged and walked away. I should say something. Spell it out for him. But when he looks at me, like I am less than nothing, the words just never come.
The crew noted the instability mentioned by Bondar and kept listening for more information.
Downloading memories.
Why am I still here, when so many of my men have fallen? Why do I return from the darkness, time and again untouched, while they sicken and wither? I am no stronger or better than any of them. All I have is my faith in Mother Russia, my commitment to the mission. Is that what shields me from the evil that we face?
Let's try another one.
Clearly, Kazakov was lucky where his fellow Spetsnaz were not, seeing as he survived so often. However, the fate of the Soviet conscripts and prisoners was even worse though, even if they did make it back alive.
Downloading memories.
This land is hot, and miserable, and I hate it. But at least I have my work. Night shift guarding my playmates. The conscripts, they are doomed, anyways. Fetching those poison crystals from the devil's doorstep. Also, nobody minds if I beat them a little, huh? As long as I do not break them.
Clearly, Filipov was corrupt with the power he held. Others, like Lukov and Yegorov, abused their power in different ways.
Downloading memories.
Everything is in place. My partners have hidden the crystals, and I led the search for the stolen goods, ensuring they will not be found. Locating a buyer will be trickier. Someone with money who also understands Ethereum's value. Worst case, I will sell to the Americans.
Downloading memories.
Lukov better have a buyer lined up. Captain Ravenov would have me shot if he found out I stole those crystals. But I need money if I'm ever going to run away with that girl at the market. We could live like royalty on a beach somewhere. She could wear flowers in her hair, and not much else. But first, Lukov needs to do his part.
The next message, recounted by Markin, was of special interest to the crew as it gave them a potential lead on leverage they could use against Valentina in the future.
Downloading memories.
Still not sure if I should report what I saw. Dr. Kulkle's secret meeting with Dr. Valentina. And whatever it was he gave to her. Peck would reward me if I discovered they are scheming behind his back. Might even get a promotion. But if I make an enemy of Valentina over nothing, I will spend the rest of my days mining those fucking crystals.
The next message focused on Ravenov.
Downloading memories.
I asked Ravenov today if I could test my truth serum on him, and for a moment he stared at me like he was going to kill me. Why? He hissed. Who have you been talking to? Needless to say, he declined my request. Trained killers always have memories they don't want to revisit. But it was worth it just to see the perfect soldier lose his cool for once.
And the next few messages mentioned Dr. Kulkley.
Downloading memories.
Teleporters acting up again. And by acting up, I mean I needed a mop and bucket for the last poor soul who stepped through. Kulkley must have recalibrated it. That little shit can never just stick to his own tasks. If Peck does not do something about him, I may have to.
Downloading memories.
Father thought my education was a waste of time. A woman will never rise through the ranks, he said. Now look at me. helping create the weapons of tomorrow with a genius like Dr. Kulkley. Dr. Peck does not recognize his genius, but I do. The weapon we are prototyping will make bullets obsolete. I do not like having to do this work in secret, but Kulkley trusts me. He sees me as an equal. He sees me.
Grab another one and let's keep searching.
Horvath, clearly in love with Dr. Kulkley, helped him with his weapon prototyping project and believed in him where others did not. Things were especially shaky between Kulkley and Peck because Peck mocked Kulkley from the very beginning of his tenure with Omega.
Fucking stupid Kulkley, Peck. Be quiet, Dimitri. This is a chance to learn from a real scientist. Dimitri, do this. Dimitri, do that. Shame on you, Dimitri. I will have you turned into soup. I am Dr. Peck. I'm a big, smart, real scientist. Fuck you! How about that, Peckerman? Fuck you! So I decide enough. Time to work on my own invention. I take the Ethereum crystal and I design new rifle that would make Kalashnikov weep. And what does Peck do? He laughs! Says it is waste of time. Calls it a child's toy. Stop being so small-brained, Dimitri. Bah, small brain, I show you, Peck. No, oh, shit. You are not the only smart man at this facility. Peck wants me to give up. Probably because Peck wants to steal it for himself. Now he can never assemble it. When I leave this place, I will take it with me and sell it to the highest bidder. Maybe I underestimated you, Dr. Kulkley. Of course you did, Peck. You see, I always have had a keen eye for opportunity.
It was this very same weapon that the Requiem agents would begin rebuilding from parts scattered around the facility, starting with a blueprint they found in the weapons lab. The rifle schematic was of particular interest to Major Carver, who encouraged the crew to try and bring it with them once they were ready to extract. Just as they were beginning to scavenge for parts, though, Ravenov alerted the crew. Another wave of zombies were pouring in from one side of the base, and the siege had to be withstood.
An assault rifle? My weapons lab is gonna love this. Find the parts.
If you are to find missing parts for Kulkley's weapon, you will first need something from him. His body must be around here somewhere. That announcement was the last thing we heard before the base fell. Before the beasts poured into our world and struck us down. Get over there, now.
Omega Air Support authorized for use upon request.
It is time. You must stand your ground. They will try to disable the reactor. You must not let them succeed. Fight. Kill. Survive.
The Requiem agents fought back, and once the siege died down, Ravenov shared his excitement.
Dimensional breach collapsing. Ether reactor integrity nominal.
Carpenter. I never doubted your ferocity. Spetsnaz would be honored to have you among their ranks. Sadly, that will not be the last breach. Prepare yourself.
The crew continued building Kulkley's rifle, eventually finishing it off at the weapons lab workbench.
Wonder weapon. I love it.
It's a beauty. Keep it in one piece. When this mission's over, you bring that back to Requiem HQ.
The Ray K-84 was impressive. Ethereum-powered and extremely deadly, it was essential to Requiem's survival efforts from that moment forward. Kulkley's final wish, to have the last laugh in his arguments with Peck, had come to fruition. With their newly acquired wonder weapon and floppy disk containing the memories of Sokolov, Brahms, and Zabine, the operators rebooted the quantum mainframe.
Disk received. Downloading contents. Activation codes accepted. Track ID coordinates locked in.
Be advised, quantum mainframe is online. Dimensional breach in progress in Omega portal chamber.
They also had Sam's tracker ID on the floppy, so they expected that this would finally be the moment when they brought her home. However, they would shortly find out that they'd still have to be a little bit more patient.
Dimensional breach in progress. Breach progression 25%. Breach progression 50%. Breach progression 75%. Attention, membrane instability detected. Stabilization required.
It's always something. Maybe Peck can still prove useful. Peck, we need to stabilize the portal, and I want the truth.
The truth? The truth is I told myself it's okay to betray my country, my beliefs. Martha, her truth was cold. Mine was warm, safe, a lie. That's the thing about the truth. It's unforgiving. It doesn't care. Your feelings don't matter. But your truth, stabilize the portal. You need more power. Find Ethereum crystals. Take them to the ether reactors. Should work. Now, leave me alone. Please.
You need Ethereum? I know some soldiers have been stealing crystals to sell on black market. As they are all dead, I do not think they will mind if you reclaim them for the motherland. Karma is a cruel bitch after all. I do not know where they hid crystals, but an ether meter could find them. There is one in cabinet nearby. I can provide the passcode. The code is 7260.
He may bleed Russian red, but once again, Ravenov comes through for us.
Maxis picks her friends carefully. Ravenov may be with us. Let's finish this and bring her back.
With the ether meter equipped, Requiem were now able to search for 3 missing Ethereum canisters. These would need to be used on Ethereum reactors around the site to overload them and push the quantum mainframe power up high enough to stabilize the portal in the OPC. Thankfully for them, this proved to be straightforward once they had taken care of a few mimics along the way.
Warning, charge exceeding recommended maximums. Warning, charge exceeding recommended maximums. Attention, power levels exceeding safety parameters.
That should do it. Get to the OPC.
They overloaded the reactors and prepared to finally welcome Maxis back home.
Breach stabilization in progress. Breach progression at 90%.
Almost there.
Warning, power overload. Stabilization failure. Portal collapse imminent. Primary power offline. Full system shutdown in progress.
Wait, what's happening?
See, here's the thing. If you believe my deception, does that make it true? Of course not. It means the truth serum wore off early because the compounds weren't mixed correctly.
Peck, you son of a bitch! What have you done?
I didn't do anything. You chose to overload the mainframe. You've destroyed your only way to bring Maxis back. You also wiped the hard drive, so you can't steal my research either. You lost this one. Take it on the chin. Go home.
Double-crossed yet again, the crew scrambled to try and think of a solution. Time was running out, and they knew that Samantha's time in the Dark Ether would feel even longer. They had to figure something out. Meanwhile, Dr. Peck mused about how close a call he had had, likely only surviving Omega's wrath because Requiem had turned the power back on for him.
Oh, don't worry about me. I was able to deliver all my research before you wiped the drives. Omega will welcome me back with open arms. They'll be willing to overlook this outbreak incident. Honestly, I don't know how this outbreak happened. What I do know is I'm not the one responsible. That is the truth. Omega will accept that. They have to. So sorry to hear that it didn't work out for Maxis. That's a real loss for your side. She was a fighter. Right up until the end.
His thoughts continued to stray to Martha also, just as they had done before.
Also, let's forget all that Martha talk earlier. It's well documented that emotions brought on by hallucinogenics tend to be over-exaggerated. You really think I would have left her if she was that important? Now who's lying to themselves? I made peace with who I am a long time ago, even if she won't. I know where I stand. Can you say the same?
What Peck didn't realize is that Omega had learned the details of what had happened at the Outpost, and they were not happy.
Oh, Peck. When I heard of your situation, I cannot say I was surprised. What was it? Experiment gone wrong? Did you forget to carry the 1 in equation? Drop deadly vial? Or was it worse? Something more sinister? How many men have you sent to their deaths in other dimensions? Maybe one came back for revenge? Rest assured, we are assessing situation. It does not look good for you. I told them it was big risk hiring American. They are not built to last. I'll report back soon with our decision. Peck, it is Valentina again. Omega has made decision, and looks like your ace-up sleeve actually worked. We are receiving your satellite transfer. Download should be complete within an hour. Once it is done, you are to destroy mainframe. Ensure there is nothing left for Requiem to acquire. Omega teams are en route to your position for evac. ETA 2 hours. Do try to stay alive until then. Valentina out.
Hello, Peck. I have been informed to your current situation. Most unfortunate, especially for men with bright future. I had big hopes for you. An American in Moscow, like classic Hollywood movie, da? I was Gene Kelly, and you, well, you were the other one. When I last spoke to you, I gave you simple task. Capture Maxis, find the mole. Simple. 1 week later and you have outdone yourself. You have destroyed your base, gotten countless loyalists killed. But at least you learned who Mole was, da? But wait, this is not true. You did not find Mole. You also lost most valuable intelligence asset because you think it was a smart idea to throw her into other fucking dimension. Do not worry, Peck. Gorev is here now to clean up your mess. I will find your Mole. For his sake, I hope he is dead. If he is not, he will soon wish he was.
Suddenly, Weaver had a breakthrough.
We're not done here. There's got to be another way. Wait a minute. Is that satellite ready with the energy beam from the director's new project?
The one for Operation Threshold? Where's your head at, Weaver? Oh. Clever son of a bitch. You think the beam will generate the power we need to open the portal? We'll need to find a way to divert power to all 3 reactors. That satellite dish should work. Our satellite's up there somewhere. Locate it, and you can realign the dish down here to its position.
Realigning my satellite dish? Just what are you up to out there?
Got your attention now, don't I, Peck? Stick around. You'll want to see this.
Satellite dish in position. Requiem control, you've got a green light. Fire when ready.
Connection established, systems nominal. Locking target. Initiating firing sequence. Firing in 3, 2, 1.
What the hell is that? Are you firing a goddamn space laser at my satellite dish?
Facility power now at 50%. Facility operating at full power.
Do you really think this will work? At best, you'll burn out the reactors. At worst, you'll make them explode.
Attention, power levels exceeding safety parameters.
That's it, Strike Team. Get back to the OPC.
The crew rushed to the OPC, hopeful that they weren't too late.
Sam? What happened to you?
I recognize that voice. Weaver. You are Requiem. Run!
Are you fucking kidding me? How do we kill this ungodly creature?
Kill that thing and get out of there. Omega forces are inbound to your position.
Hit it now when it is most vulnerable.
They had made it out of the frying pan, but were stepping directly into the fire. The Order, a huge manifestation of dark ether energy, had blocked their exit and would need to be destroyed before they could evacuate. Monsters of this kind had been glimpsed only fleetingly before, walking through the forest in dark ether Morasco. They were ancient monsters known to have their own hierarchy of power inside the dark ether, and this particular one wasn't going to let the crew leave without a fight.
That's all she wrote. Target is hit! Now!
Not coming with us?
There is an operation underway in the Ural Mountains. I have to stay in the field.
As I mentioned in my full Story of D Machine video, the Ural Mountains was a special point of interest then, and it clearly still was, and is to Ravenov as well. He said goodbye to the crew and left, beginning his journey there. The phase barrier and dark ether influence in the Ural Mountains facility was stronger and more dangerous than anywhere else on Earth, and he felt that his duty to his country compelled him to go and try and help his fellow countrymen however he could. Omega still didn't know he was a mole after all, and the ruse must be maintained.
This is the only way.
I told you once, Omega is not who we are. I do this for the good of the motherland. For the good of us all.
Try not to break anything else.
Remember, there's nothing so broken that it cannot be fixed.
Sam, are you okay?
I'm ready to come in, Weaver. We have a lot to talk about.
Now, while Samantha and the Requiem operators flew to safety and Ravenov left, Omega forces were pouring into the outpost to convene with Peck.
Finally! Could you have taken any longer to get here?
You were smart to transmit your research. You demonstrated loyalty, to an extent.
To an extent? What more do you want? Just wait until we get back to Moscow. We'll see what the Colonel thinks about this.
Really? Do you really want to know what I think?
The Colonel, long having operated out of the shadows, was revealed to be none other than Kravchenko himself. He was furious that Maxis had been allowed to escape, and even more so that Peck had thrown her into the dark ether without first extracting the identity of the Omega Mole, who we know to be Ravenov.
I think I want to see a demonstration of your commitment to Omega. Tell me, Doctor. Which is your better eye?
He claimed Peck's eye to show he would not tolerate such failures again, and next time he would undoubtedly pay with his life. So Requiem began to plan their next move against Omega. There were two key sites that now held their interest, one being the Ural Mountains, of course, as it had done previously, and the other being Berlin. Weaver had received intelligence reports from Station Chief Mayer that events were unfolding within the divided German capital that would require Requiem's further involvement, and with Samantha now safely secured, it seemed the perfect opportunity to travel to Berlin and eliminate the Omega threat that had begun to fester there. They could then later, if they chose to, direct their attention back to the Ural Mountains once the threat had been dealt with a little closer to home. Ravenov, after all, had provided a great service to them, and undoubtedly they would want to honor that debt. Now, there is heaps more to discuss about this map, the research going on there, Kravchenko, Valentina, all sorts of different aspects of the COD Zombies story, and for now I'm going to save that for future videos and undoubtedly for my full story of DLC 2 as well. I'll link some videos on screen for you to click through to right now, and if you don't want to miss any future content like this, now would be a great time to subscribe as well. Thanks for watching everyone, drop a like if you've enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.